everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about all of the new YouTube monetization policy updates that were announced yesterday at the Made on YouTube event. So if you weren't around for that, and have no fear, we're going to be covering it in depth today. And I was going to do this tomorrow on the live stream, but I figured honestly, because these new changes are coming out, there's not really too much information, which is too much information. You know what I mean? So it's like people have lots of questions and they want to know, and we want to give you the information. So let's go ahead and have a chat about this. So first of all, thank you to YouTube, by the way, Team YouTube. You guys were so fabulous and so kind. They actually took a group of creators down to LA, and we got to go and attend the Made on YouTube event, which was essentially a press conference releasing the new information around monetization updates. If we haven't met, I am Shelly Nathan, also known as Shelly Saves the Day. Here on this channel, we like to talk about how you can do YouTube and, you know, make some money while doing it. We don't want any starving artists. So if that sounds good to you, I hope you will stick around, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I took a whole bunch of notes, as I do. I felt like a real reporter, honestly. I was like, I've got so many questions, and even now we still have questions out to the public about, you know, what kind of questions we have. So if you have questions as well, I want you to make sure that you drop them so that maybe we can get them and collate them as a list, and perhaps we can actually get some answers, okay? So let's talk about a few of the changes that came out, okay? Now, where to begin? I have so many different screenshots and things that I want to lay on y'all. So let's see how to best do this. Let's 1 second. I might come up with. Okay. All right. So let's start with yesterday. Who came on first? Neil Mohan, and he Chief Product Officer. All right. And so, hey, Marcus Schaub, Sammy Superstar, the Man About Tech, Viper, how are you? Viper was also there with us and as part of the crew. And it was a very secretive, we had no idea who was going to be there. And so I was super nervous to go and attend, but definitely had a little bit of like relief come over me when I saw a few familiar faces. So it was really, really nice to see some familiar faces, Viper being one of them. And so it's like a little mini reunion. We will be reuniting next week, Vid Summit LA. So speaking of Vid Summit, Daryl Eves was also, Daryl Eves, who owns Vid Summit, was also at this YouTube launch event. So we got to ask a lot of great questions, and I think there's going to be a huge disruptive change that comes with a lot of these things. So let's get into it. First of all, we were saying from Neil Mohan that 15 years ago, the partner program was launched, which is a one-of-a-kind, real revenue sharing type of thing where YouTube had decided to split some of that ad revenue money between creators and the platform, because they are deeply aware that without the creators making the content, right, the content is made by the creators help make the platform what it is and make it a destination for a lot of the viewers. And so YouTube is definitely trying to make sure it's fair and equitable to everybody, and making sure that YouTube is the platform of choice is kind of that, the way that goes. All right. So 15 years ago, they launched this revenue sharing. And in the last 3 years alone, just in the last 3 years, they've already paid out over $50 billion. That's across all these different, you know, marketplaces and everything that, all the countries that are currently enabled in the YPP program. This is not necessarily just the Shorts Fund, which is that 100 million, you know, for the year or so. This is over the last 3 years, $50 billion has been paid out, right? So they're introducing this new pathway. And so with the uptick of shorts and all of the market research they were kind of doing and understanding, right, we're seeing all kinds of things like between now how the algorithms are going to be talking to each other between short form and long form content. There were complaints, as there are with any kind of changes rolled out, but like what happens if you have massive success and a lot of views in the shorts shelf, but you still can't get the 4,000 hours monetized to be part of the partner program, right? Like how do we equate the success of short term with, you know, long, you know, do we have to have separate channels? There are all these different things, right? And there weren't always a lot of answers yet. And so I think this is, we'll get into it. You guys, strap in. This may be a very long live stream because we haven't even gotten through the first paragraph yet. Okay. Hello to Adam's Exploits. Yes, this is amazing stuff. And so if you have questions too, make sure you're dropping them because we're also going to be covering any of the leftovers and plus extras. We'll reiterate tomorrow on the Thursday live stream. All right. So this new path to partnership, there's a couple of different things that we want to approach. I'm saying I mean YouTube. Okay. YouTube is approaching. Number one is going to be for the shorts creators. If you, and this is going to be starting in 2023, so they're just giving everyone a heads up now since we're in quarter four and, kind of getting ready. This is all going to be kind of for a lot of these things launching next year, 2023, right? And so what they're saying is if there is a creator who gets 10 million views over the past 90 days, and there is a question, I believe it's, maybe January 1 going forward 90 days and not January 1 and going retroactively back 90 days. We'll get clarification on that, but I believe it's, January or whenever they launch early 2023, it will be from a start date and then going forward, I believe 90 days. So if you have 10 million views, which may seem like a lot, but sometimes, people are getting 2 million or something on a single short, and they can put out multiple shorts in a day, let alone in a week, in a month, in 90 days, okay? And you have 1,000 subscribers, so that is still a requirement. You do have to have the subscriber number. Then those creators will be invited into the YouTube Partner Program, so you're not then having to battle, hey, I have all of these subscribers, but I don't have enough watch hours. So that's one change right there. So if you want to be a short form content creator and you're just not getting a massive amount of watch time cumulatively, but you are getting views, then 10 million views in the last 90 days, plus 1,000 subscribers, plus being in a country that is monetizable, right, is going to then equal being able to apply to get into the partner program. I still have questions that are not answered, whether it comes to, what kind of content, what if it's reused content from other sites? I would assume no content that has visible watermarks because that was already a prerequisite to get paid for the Shorts Fund bonus. They wouldn't usually pay out on videos that had watermarks on them. But what if, you steal someone else's video, which happens a lot, and you take it from TikTok and they don't even know and they don't post that same video, let's say on YouTube, so it's not caught up in Content ID. What if someone is doing just compilations of different little TikToks and reactions? So I have questions about that to start with. So that's going to be one of the questions already. Let me say this. Hopefully I'm going to get 10 million views on Shorts. I got 25,000 views from Shorts this week. That's amazing. I know, Sammy, you had posted one saying that you had just put it out and gotten, I think it was on the Brio or on the Logic webcam, right? Some of the eCam lives from People of Video. I'm so sad that I couldn't go to People of Video, but now you know why I couldn't go to People of Video, and that's because I was invited to the YouTube event, and so I was very, very grateful to go down to the YouTube event. They treated us very well. They took us to dinner. They gave us a tour of their campus, and so it was just a fantastic, jam-packed day. I met a lot of really cool people, including some people that I follow on Twitter, and then it was great to see them in real life. So like Maz, if you're out there, I got to see you, and I got to meet, there's a wonderful Kaique, and he's from Brazil, and he's from São Paulo, and he speaks Portuguese on his YouTube channel, and he was fantastic and very sweet. I got to hang out with Viper, I got to hang out with Renee Ritchie, and a few others, so it was just fantastic. And I got to meet some of the team YouTube people as well, which was really, really great. Because y'all know me, I have questions, I have things that are broken, I have things that I don't like. And they sat there with, let me pull out my phone, let me take notes. They are listening. And I thought that was really very evident. They care deeply about the experience, the success, and the process that people are going through. I could not tell you. I think it's just, Renee must have nominated me. I don't know how else they would have invited me, but honestly, I was very, very grateful to be part of the group. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next thing here. So that's going to be for Shorts monetizable to get into the YPP. Next is going to be This one I was a little bit salty that they were very nebulous and they didn't actually give specifics because I love specifics. They said that there will be a new entry pathway into what I believe is going to be like creator funding. So super thanks, super stickers, maybe the merchandise, maybe, live stream super chats, those types of things, the creator fan funded ones. And that is going to have a lower a lower threshold of entry than the typical 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. What those new lower requirements are going to be, they did not specify. They just said coming soon. My guess, nothing I say here, okay, is definitive. My guess is for channels that maybe are around 500 subscribers, because that's when they kind of dropped to the community tab. That's when they started opening up some of those features. My guess is if you have 500 subscribers, you might be able to start seeing things like super chats. And don't quote me on that. That is my best guess. Okay, that's just a guess right now. All right. So we'll have more to come on the pathway to partnership for fan funding for the not yet monetized. Okay. So this is all going to be, again, starting early 2023. They didn't say, it's January 1st. They just said early 2023. Okay. So the beginning of the year. Okay. So that is the next one. If you guys have questions, like I said, make sure you're dropping them. Make sure we're getting a chat about this stuff. Okay. And if you're watching and getting value out of this live stream, please make sure that you hit that like button or boop that subscribe. It doesn't bite. Okay, so the next thing that we talked about is going to be, they talked a lot about mobile first generation of creators, which is really interesting. So mobile first. So not only does that just mean to me, like people who are really interested in shorts, but really thinking about, mobile first. People who are thinking about user-generated content that's also going to be viewed mobile first or optimized for mobile. And we've chatted about that before on the live streams and podcasts that I do with Dane and Gwen, talking about how do you optimize for videos that are made for mobile, whether that's, screenshots and vertical tutorials or anything like that. I feel like mobile first, because we know that 70% of views on YouTube typically come from a mobile phone, those types of things, which also could lead into greatly YouTube shorts and short form vertical video. If you think about that, is what comes to mind for me for mobile first creators. So let's talk about this. And they said for mobile first creators, right? Currently there's around 30 billion views per month from 1.5 billion users, from logged in users. Okay. So this is basically like 1 billion views a day. If there's 30 days in a month, let's just say for easy math, 30 billion views, we're talking about 1 billion views a day that are coming from shorts. Okay. So revenue sharing is now going to become a standard model instead of the fixed funding, which was the Creator Fund. So the Creator Fund that was launched, which was always meant to be temporary, and we knew this because it said that it would run through the end of 2022, which we are quickly approaching because we are now in September of 2022. And I believe that this fund expires December 31st of 2022. So it would also make sense that these new things would then be coming first of the year or so. Not first of the year, sorry, in the beginning quarter of the year, okay? So if we're talking about all of this rev sharing is actually going to be quite significant. So a few points first is that the revenue sharing ads are not specifically tied to any one video. So again, this is very, very different, okay? Ads will be served in between your scrolling experience of videos. And the way that this works is based on the number of views and the number of ads shown, they have this pool. And from this pool, based on how many percentage of views your video contributed to that amount, you would then also partake in the revenue split. It gets more complicated than that though, because, we don't even know, what our ads, which ads are going to be dynamically generated, how much people paid for those ads. So I know that Moz had put on Twitter a question that had come up from his community is, what's the RPM going to be like? And I'm like, it's a really good question, but I think it's really too hard to even calculate because there's no ad associated with any one specific video, just a pool of ads and a pool of views and then a pool of revenue that is then distributed. So much like when you have YouTube Premium revenue and money that is being split out amongst the percentage of time watched on the channels that were under this premium account that you were watching, it's going to be difficult, I feel like, for the math to math. So I feel like the numbers are just going to be maybe just completely all over the board. And I know that sounds confusing. I'm confused by it. I think we're going to be confused by it for a bit until the first few cycles happen, so we can actually kind of see what was that payout like for a YouTube Shorts bonus versus what you will now get as part of the YPP, right? But so some information that was shared with us is that music licensing is now included in this revenue split. So for the YouTube Shorts, okay, instead of the 55-45, they actually flipped it. It's a 45-55 where the music licensing is taken care of. So we have a lot to dive into when it comes to music. We'll spend the majority of the time talking about music because I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to share with you about the music and the stuff that YouTube didn't share, like a lot of the what you can and cannot do with the music and why it's good or maybe not good for some, okay? So, and the additional questions that I still have about it. So with this, the music licensing is taken care of. So this means if you wanted to use more than the 15 seconds of music in the music library currently, right, which is all you get currently, you will be able to use music and still be able to be monetized in certain ways, right? So if this is happening, and it's also difficult because we've got long form videos and we got the short form videos, right? And where the view's coming from and how that money splits out. So it gets even dicier when we actually dive into it, really. But now basically you're saying you're going to be able to use more. and since shorts are less than 60 seconds, basically you're going to be able to go up to the 60-second mark is one thing, which is something that a lot of people have been asking for. It's come up a lot in the YouTube Shorts roundtable communities, and it's definitely something now that is possible. And why would you want to be able to use up to 60 seconds of a popular song if you're a dance choreographer, if you're doing something like that where you need more of the music than 15 seconds? It's going to be great. If you want to do some sort of time lapse where you're doing art or something where you need more than 15 seconds it's going to be great. I mean, obviously, you get it. Why do I have a hammer in the background? Oh, that's a good question. So this is a little mallet, and it came from YouTube, from the Shorts community. And I have a short on it, actually. And it was it was a chocolate box. And they gave us this little hammer so that we could crack open this box of chocolate. And it had Cookie Crisp inside. And then they give us a cereal bowl and a cool straw that says YouTube. And so we were able to crack it open, pour in the cereal into this cereal bowl, and I just thought the mallet was cute. And it has the little YouTube Shorts logo on it, so I keep it in my background. So that's the question, and that's the answer on that one. At least it's an answer I actually know the answer to. Everything else, like I said, is speculative and is my opinion. I feel like I really need that meme, the Real Housewives one, where it's like, that's my opinion, okay? If we're getting value out of this so far, can you please boop the like button, because it says there's only 8 and there's like 12 of you watching, okay? And I always like my stuff first, so the math ain't mathin', people. Okay, so the majority of Shorts creators, they said, should make more money under the new YPP program than from the Shorts bonus fund. This is a quote from the VP, and they're saying, like I said, should make more money. I had an open question around, it had been said that under the bonus fund, countries that weren't enabled for YPP, some countries were eligible for the Shorts bonus fund. However, since YPP is only in specific countries and YPP is just expanding, it's only still going to revert back to any of the countries that are already involved with YPP. So it's possible that some people could then lose access. But to be fair, it was a temporary fund that was always supposed to run out at the end of this year anyway, so they'd already be losing it. But that is just something to keep in mind. It's just something to keep in mind. Okay. I think it's easier to have fan funding for smaller live streams. Yeah, for sure. And this is, I don't know if you saw Dan say people of video is skipping 2023 and will return May of 2024. I think I did see him say that, and I think it's because he also wants to return it to the spring. So it would be weird to have it probably in the fall and then in the spring again. So it might make sense to do kind of like the skip and then come back in the spring. So it's like a little bit longer break than instead of a doom, skip stone. You know what I mean? Like a heartbeat. All right. So that was all that was said from Neil Mohan. Okay. And then we had Tara Walpert-Levy come out. And one of the things that was discussed, they had a panel discussion, and Colin and Samir came out, which was fantastic. I didn't know that there were going to be some of these big creators there. But Colin and Samir, great YouTube channel, talking about the creator economy, almost 1 million subscribers. And they were talking about how they enjoyed having some of the freedom that shorts had enabled them, because sometimes their shows or video podcasts are longer, they're scripted. They're not even sure sometimes if a specific type of subject will do well, if the audience will react well. So Shorts was really able to give them an additional outlet to maybe test the waters for some of these things, as well as they were encouraged to see that both types of content could coexist on their channel peacefully. So they said their 2 most viewed videos on their channel, one was a short of 20 seconds and one was like a 2-hour podcast. And so he's like, it's nice that we can have both of these formats and now still additionally be paid for the short form content that we're making. So I thought that was really cool. Hello, Ada the Traveler. You are the Flying Fish, right? It's just the new name. I recognize the avatar, but I feel like the name had changed. Okay, so there was a comment made that 40% of the payments from the Shorts Fund came for people who were previously not getting paid, so not previously part of the YPP. So I think this had to do with a lot of maybe of the influencers coming in from other platforms, dabbling in what they already knew, either was successful or lower barrier of entry, and they really just wanted to get into YouTube, right? So I think that's a huge thing already, where they're talking about a lot of the people who were getting money from the Shorts Fund had previously never been getting paid out of YPP. So that's a lot of people making money, which is great. So now, with it being open to all of the countries in YPP and getting that 45% ad revenue split, you don't have to run the mind gymnastics over, should I do a popular song or should I just do a talking head? It's really kind of opening up this freedom to what is the best choice for your video? What's the best type of format? And I know that a lot of people also seem to have a lot to say around, wow, they're only pushing short form content. And I don't think that's true. And I thought she had a great quote, again, saying something like, we believe that a creator should be able to make money or like a living no matter what type of format they want to create. So they're not taking away support for long streams. They're not taking away support for the ability to do regular like long videos. They're not taking away anything else. They're just adding an additional revenue slice into the, and I'm all for that. So it's really about supporting a new group of creators, but not taking anything away from the other ones. So if you are a long form creator or live streamer who doesn't want to do shorts, you don't have to. It's really not like a big, it's not like saying you have to do this, which I think is nice of them to just give additional ways though that you can be making money, but clearly saying it's fine. You don't have to do this if you don't want to do this. Okay. Hey, we have a super chat. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. I don't know if it's going to come up with the little widget because I just turned it back on. But let's do the super chat thing. 1 second here. Super chat. Super chat. Where is it? Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Dance break. Subscribe. New channel member. And the iPad. Where is it? Where is it? Why is it hiding? Oh, I must have moved it. Give me a second. I'll find it. Screen share. Members. iPad. Dance break. Super chat. Here we go. Marcus, thank you so much for your super chat. Really appreciate you. He said, let me see if I can put it up here on screen. Boom. Oh, let me move it. This is very interesting. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here for the conversation. Thank you for being here. Loving that. Okay. Sweet. Moving on to the next point here. We have, let's see here. So I had a question that I had written down on my iPad. It says, what if you don't use music? Technically, if you had made a long form video, it would be like a 55%, right? But if you make the YouTube short and that's where it blows up, then it's 45%. So is it more or actually less money? And so considering the fact that 95% of the views or so come from the shorts shelf and that never counted towards your watch time anyway, it would be hard to say it was like hurting you in terms of your watch hours. You still get to count the subscribers. And because you only get the monetized views and playback from the 5% of the time when people watch it from your home channel page, stuff like that, when it's outside of the shorts feed, I would have to think unless they specifically, which it wasn't even available before, gave you like a super chat or super thanks sticker off of it, I don't think necessarily you make less money because you could have been having a short that had 100,000 views on it or 5 million views on it, and you wouldn't have necessarily been guaranteed to get a large payout from the Creator Fund either. So, because most of the people that I've seen get payouts out of the Creator Fund were making just, double-digit millions of views or higher because some of it was based off of view count. So I guess it's kind of like it's not really a thing. So I'm just going to say it's not really something that I would be too worried about in that particular instance, but it is something I'm just wanting you to know where my brain was going as I was thinking of these questions. Okay. So is it fair that you get the same percentage split if you use music or if you don't use music? No, but now it comes down to what do you think makes the best video for the topic that you want to do, music or no music. Now it's just your choice. And so I guess in that respect, I can kind of understand. All right. So then I was a big fan. I was very surprised, but Call Me Chris, who has 46 million, let's say, on TikTok and 7.5 million or so on YouTube, came out, and she is fantastic. She's a Canadian who does all sorts of skits and just strikingly beautiful. And she's been on the Philly D show and she does lots of different characters, but she had a really great kind of comment or quote and I loved it. And so I wrote it down. She said, "Shorts were my go-to for sharing characters and sketches, and long form became my go-to for sharing all the other sides of myself because there's a lot more of yourself that you want to share than you can sometimes get across in 60 seconds or less." And so it was really about having a new avenue and a new way to really get to know the people who are watching and connect with your audience. And if you think about it, it's the same on a regular YouTube channel. You have the regular videos that are typically more concise and packaged and you put out there. And then you have the live streams, which are where you kind of get to talk with people and you get to know their personality a little bit more and you, right, are willing to give them more of your time because maybe you have more of a relationship with them. And that's where it really fosters relationship versus maybe a packaged 5-minute video where you're just in and out with the conversation and the information that you need. If that makes sense to you, give me a thumbs up on that. All right. So yes, I have written on the side, reuse content, a concern for monetization especially. And then I said something about, the quote was being able to make a living no matter the format that you choose. So I thought that was really important that they did say that. Okay. The second is this revenue sharing option, but with a split with an artist. Now, this was interesting because they brought out Lear Cohen, who is kind of like the VP of music. And he's kind of, I guess, like, for better, all intents and purposes, like the program director of YouTube Radio, right? I think he's wheeling and dealing with all of these music labels and houses and stuff about what music comes on and, you know, dealing with all of that and the legalities of that. So then what they had was a discussion between Kyle Hanagami, who is like a world-renowned choreographer. And if you're not kind of into that space, Kyle also does a lot of, sometimes you see these dance videos, choreography videos, showing off choreography that he has made to very popular songs. Most of the time, those videos, even though they would get millions upon millions of views, none of them are going to be making money for Kyle, right, off of the views, because it's going to get a copyright claim. Or in some cases, you could possibly even get a copyright strike, or if it's a copyright claim and possibly then not being shown to specific countries because of the music label and the rules and restrictions that they have with YouTube. So commonly what you might see is then Kyle or someone like him decide, I'm not going to use the new Lil Nas X song because I'm going to get hit with a copyright, right? So I'm going to use this other person's song who has the same beats per minute and the same kind of vibe, but isn't as well known because I want to be able to make money off of my own video creation, right? Obviously that makes sense. So sometimes they're saying you get this lesser video experience because you're not using the song that you really want to use. And it's a loss for the artist because they're not getting, you know, people to use their stuff, which it's just what they want. They want people to be exposed to it, to listen to it, to make videos to it. The record labels aren't getting what they want because they want people to go out and buy the music and it be spread, or they want the money, right? So it's kind of this lose situation because it's maybe not the right song, or it's a good video, but it's not like that stellar quality, like high video, right? When you have the wrong song sometimes with the wrong video, it's like, man, it's just not as good as it could be. So they actually had Jason Derulo, who is a musical artist, come out, and he's like, you know, I would want Kyle to use my song. You know, Kyle, why are you using someone else's song? And, you know, it's like, because you want to make money. So he's like, but I get it, because you want to make money because, you know. So this kind of takes that restriction off, because now instead of having to just find a song that may work, now you can use the song that you wanted. And so the difference is that you're going to be able to have two different options. One, if the music is available in the library, you can purchase a one-time license. And we're going to talk so much about music, it's going to make your ears bleed. So just go with me here. Okay, people? You can use a one-time license and you can then keep all of the ad money because the music people have agreed on a set price. The set price can be variable on your channel's reach. So I would imagine that maybe larger channels would have to pay more because they'll see more usage versus maybe a small channel that is like 80 subscribers. I don't know. You never know. And I would be interested to see the same song offered from smallest channel to largest channel, what that differential looks like. Because I happen to know that some channels will also want to use a song, and then the record label or something will even say something like, and there's an escalation clause, like if you reach more than 1 million or 5 million or 10 million views on this video, you have to pay us additional money. You have to keep paying us because of the increased amount of exposure that is happening, which almost seems backwards, right? Because it's like, it's good for your, but anyways. So you're going to be able to make a one-time purchase and use that song, and then you'll be able to collect all of the money and revenue, or you can decide not to pay the licensing fee. And instead of getting the copyright claim where they would take all of the money, you might get a copyright claim where they take 55% of the money. Okay. So that's the difference now is you're going to maybe be able to make some money instead of no money. How about that? And I think that's a huge change. So we've seen even the likes of David Dobrik before. He would say like, I want to use this song. I know it's a popular song. I want to use it. I don't care. We're going to get a copyright claim. We're going to get millions of views on it. They're going to get all the revenue. But what does he do? He brings in a sponsor of the video. And the sponsor of the video pays a big rate because they negotiate that knowing, right, that they're not going to get any money from the views of the video. So it might be like, I don't know. I'm making up numbers. I have no idea what David Dobrik makes, okay? He may get 200, 500,000. He might get $1 million as a sponsorship from SeatGeek or Taco Del Mar or whatever to make this video. And he knows that he'll make zero money from YouTube AdSense because it will get claimed and the record label gets all the money. Okay. So there's that. So now if he wants to use that song, I don't know, maybe he'll pay $50,000 to get that song and license it. And he'll be able to keep all the rest of the ad money, which is probably a lot, probably pays for more than the licenses, and he gets to make additional money. And this is a big deal because if you're someone who, let's say you're Mr. Beast, and you're making videos that cost millions of dollars to make, like, but they get millions upon millions of views, and you want to recoup some of that money, right? So if you're Mr. Beast, maybe you want to pay $100,000 for a track, get, you know, on the 20 million views or whatever it is, make, I don't know how much money he makes, and make money on sponsorships or whatever. Like, it's a new way of mathing this whole thing and putting it together. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Those are the two options. Either you pay and you get the money, or you don't pay and you could do a rev split, or depending on if they're not in the library, or if the record label's real jerks, they may take all your money or they may shut down your video. You never know. Okay. So Adam Tinkoff says, it's morning somewhere. Good morning. Good morning. And he says, what do you think? And how do you think this will impact vendors like Epidemic? You know, it's a really good question. So Epidemic is a monthly subscription music service so that you can go in and you can get music so that you can use it across your videos. A few different things. There are some nuances to some of the music that are really important to point out, and we're going to get into them more. One is that the music can only be used if you buy it as a license in one YouTube video, one video. And Epidemic, as long as you're having a current subscription, you can use that video across multiple platforms, I believe. So you should be able to take that video and put it on Facebook with the same agreement. That's not the case with this. Also, because it's one song, one video, this is very similar to the model that Licked has. And Licked, I don't know yet how this will work, because honestly, one of the things that I saw in the library as I was looking through it as a search, right now they're focusing on indie brands and indie music artists, which makes sense because they're probably cheaper to buy the licensing rights to versus Sony or, you know, BMI or some of these huge groups. And when I was looking through the catalog, there were only somewhere between 450 to 500 tracks. So obviously, number one, this is only launching in the United States. So Epidemic is global. So anyone who's outside of the United States is probably still going to want to use them. Number two, the library size is not yet significant enough to probably pull people away from the other, right? So we'll have to see what happens when more of these music libraries start publishing and putting their stuff and catalog on there. So right now you can't go in and be like Taylor Swift's version of Love Story yet. I don't know if they'll get there, right? So I don't know if Licked already has it where you can get that song. So it's going to be like an interesting, I don't know, you're going to go to one service and see if that song exists. You're going to come over here to another one. Is there a song kind of like this? You know what I mean? Until we find out more information. So we'll see. We'll see. So Jason Derulo actually made a really good comment where he said social media creators are now like the new program directors of like radio, but for social media, right? So you used to go to a radio program director and be like, they're the people who decide whether or not your radio song goes on their radio station. And so he's like, I'm always having dinners and talking to these people. And he's like, now I could be like, hey, Kyle, I got this new track. What do you think? And if Kyle likes it and puts it out to his millions of fans, right? If this is a Lil Nas X situation for Old Country Road or whatever, or this is the Blanco Brown for the Get Up Challenge, or this is Lizzo with the It's About Damn Time type thing, where all of a sudden it gets popular because starts on TikTok or starts on a social platform, starts with some very popular creators, and then everyone starts to kind of like do the same. Now it's if you can get a popular creator to possibly, I don't know, use that sound or whatever, work with your publishing house, it could be a win-win-win for everybody. So we'll see. Marcus says, if I was a shareholder of Epidemic, I would get very nervous. And keep in mind that Epidemic also has things like sound effects and other. So, I mean, I think we're a little bit off from having, like I said, Taylor Swift or, you know, even Jason Derulo's music available. Because like I said, as I looked, there was less than 500 tracks and they're all from indie artists. Okay. So we're not like mainstream yet. So it really is going to depend on how large the library gets, how popular artists in the library is, and how successful that is. So, okay, so let's move on to this next section here. If you have other questions, though, observations, all that stuff, yes, please feel free. Make sure you're putting them in. Okay. So I had asked a question later on, which I do want to come back to. And I said, so if you're someone like Kyle Hanagami and he's getting millions of views on his choreography videos, if you purchase a license for that song that you may have used, could you then, from that day of the license going forward, do the rev split or keep the revenue that's still coming in on these new video views? And the answer seemed to be no. Right now, it's based on date of license purchase or not purchase and inclusion in the library plus the date of the video published, not the video view date. So even though he published the video 3 years ago, if I buy the license now and the video views going forward, not covered. It's still under the old agreement from when it was published. But if I buy a new license, then it would be in effect from the new video date of publish and X. And also if the price goes up on it because maybe more people are using it, it's more popular, or whatever else it is, you're still retroactively protected from the date and the purchase price that you did from when you purchased it and published the video. Okay. So same with like, yeah, it's going to depend on how big their music library is, their selection, their percentage they take, how easy they make it to work with creators. There's a lot of open questions that I have about both, but yeah, I might be a little nervous. Architectural Sheet Metal 101. Good to see you. Nice to see you here. All right, so let's take a look here. So they're saying only on new videos. Let's see here. Daryl Leaves had an amazing question about what does this look like for independent artists and people who want to get into music and make their music library available for others to use. We don't know yet is the answer. Not sure. Okay. And then they did say the YouTube Shorts bonus. That was my question about the YPP in the eligible countries. I will say kudos to them. They had a private Q&A session that happened after the live stream where they did announce a lot of these changes, and they took questions from anyone in the audience. So there were several from creators like myself. Andrew Edwards had several questions, and Liron Segev had several questions. Derulo had a question, and then we were sitting next to people like from TechCrunch and from TubeFilter and from Forbes magazine. And so it was really interesting because it was a press event, but there were creators who were invited to it, and we participated in it somewhat like a press member might do towards the end. But then, so it was fun. Yeah, I had some questions specifically offline, not about this, but about mobile parity between the upload experience for YouTube Shorts versus the back end and all of that stuff. So we're still waiting on some of those answers for that. All right, so those were some of my notes on that. Now let me pull up some of the screenshots. We're going to get into the specifics of what you can and cannot do with the music. This is a bunch of stuff they did not share in their press release. They did not share in their blog post. And I saw in the terms and conditions and frequently asked questions when I went to mosey on through a whole bunch of information. I wanted to see it all. Okay, so let me pull up my photos here and then we can get into all the screenshots that I took. 1 second. Open with preview. All right. Oops, where's that going? Here we go. If you're getting value from this, I hope that you're booping that like button because it says there's 13 people watching and I still don't even have double-digit likes on this video, y'all. Okay? Help me out. Help me out. Give me double digits. Someone hit the button. All right, so it says, who can use Creator Music? Again, this is going to be the library, the purchasing, I pay the money up front, and I get to keep all of my ad revenue type of thing, okay? So here we go. To be eligible to use Creator Music, YouTube creators must either be in the YouTube Partner Program, YPP, or have been notified by Google that they are eligible. So I've seen this in the back end of a YouTube channel that I have access to where it says like you can get into the beta, hit here. And that's how, if you haven't seen it yet, I put out a short yesterday. That was a preview of what the marketplace looks like. Okay. And so you can search by genre or mood. You can see just the total number of tracks. And that's how I knew it was somewhere between 450 and 500 because as you go through the pagination and you keep hitting the forward on the 50 per page, when you get to the one that is between 450 and 500, you get an error and it it just like gives you an error message. So that's how I know it's under 500 as of right now. Okay. So creators must also be in compliance with all applicable YouTube policies, including but not limited to channel monetization rules, the creator responsibility policy, community guidelines, and the copyright. So I have like 12 pages of screenshots, y'all. We're going to get into it, okay? Creator Music is currently not available to companies or YouTube creators that primarily produce content that's commercially released in theaters, on television, and or via over-the-top streaming television services. Okay, so that's a big thing right there. So I think interesting that they say that. So if you have some sort of like movie or something like that, it's saying you're not really supposed to be using this. Okay. Then it says commercial brands whose YouTube channels are dedicated to promoting such brands, goods, or services. So they're going to be talking about how you're really not supposed to be using this in like sponsor content and in things like ads or things that could be made into ads or things like even like infomercials that could also be ads. So I have questions about this and what qualifies in certain categories. We'll get into that. So it says Google reserves the right to change eligibility criteria for Creator Music at its sole discretion. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also, if you're getting value in this, because this is a lot of talking, share this stream right now on Twitter or wherever, okay? And say that we're talking about all the things that YouTube didn't share with us. We're having to go in there and pull out all the nitty gritty, and I'm sharing it with you right now. So go share this live stream so that we get more people in the know with what this information is. I don't want more people coming in later being like, I didn't know we couldn't do that. So it says, here's some questions. It says, why do mood pages only show licenses with no cost? And if you watch that YouTube short that I put out, right, it has that preview and it says you can do by mood or you can do by genre. Okay. So it says some mood pages simply don't have any paid licenses associated with the mood. In these cases, only non-paid licenses will show. So I think they're alluding to the fact that the music library isn't fully baked and it isn't fully populated yet. So there could be some certain categories that just don't have inventory yet. I will say, so we were at dinner with Team YouTube and I was saying, hey, I saw this thing on this channel that I happen to have access to. And, can you tell me more about this? And they were like, what? You saw that? And I was like, yeah. Can you tell me? And he's like, I can't confirm or deny, but maybe that's something you would hear about at a later time. And so what I found out is I just happened to see an early indication and message about this thing before it was officially announced, which was yesterday. And so he's like, I can't talk about that, but I will say that if you've seen it, it's not available to tons of creators yet. So if you saw it, you didn't see it type of thing. It says, can I use music I licensed in multiple videos? Okay. The answer is no. Creator music licenses are valid for a single video, one single uno. But this is an important thing. I don't know how this process is going to look, but I thought it was important to notice. It says, if you have added a license to a private or unlisted video or a video that is in a draft and the video has never been set to public, any licenses that you've added to that video can be removed and applied to a different video. So if you're someone who's also maybe wanting to, how sometimes you test your upload and see if it gets hit with a ad suitability type of thing, maybe it's more controversial in nature. So some people upload it and wait to see if they get a yellow icon or maybe a green icon or something like that. So if you upload a video to private or unlisted or in draft status and it's never been public, this is a big thing because I would say if you accidentally set it as public, then you've spent your license, is my understanding. That's my understanding, is you have spent your license and you would have to purchase it again to actually publish the video. So do not accidentally make public a video that has a paid license on it. Until the moment it is public, it looks like you'll be able to do some sort of swapping between a private, unlisted, or draft video and take that license and apply it to a different video. And then you'll be able to set that video to public and you will not get dinged with a copyright claim, right? Because it will be covered under the license that you purchase. It is my understanding. That is the way that I am interpreting that. It could be subject to interpretation change or it could be false. That is my interpretation. Okay. It says, this switching process cannot be done once a video is set to public. So like I said, if you spent $6,000 on a track, you accidentally hit public and then you're like, oops, let me move it back to whatever. It seems like, no, you've spent it. Okay. This one says, there we go. Can I transfer my license to someone else? It says no. Licenses are unique to a specific channel and to a specific video. So you cannot transfer them to anyone else. So keep this in mind. So you can't buy the song because you have access to the library and then give it to someone else because also it looks and sounds as if, it is my understanding, looks and sounds as if your price could vary based on if the manufacturer has decided they want to change it or your channel's reach. Like I said, I alluded to earlier, we might be seeing different pricing for a channel with millions of subscribers versus one that has 100,000 subscribers. That is my understanding. We will see. Okay. It says, TED Talks, hello. Cockney, hello. And The Power of Purpose, hello. Great to see you. I'm glad. First time here. Welcome to the party. We're talking about the new monetization and music policies that have been announced as of yesterday at the Made on YouTube event. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. We may or may not be able to answer them, but I am also trying to collate a list as well. I've already sent an entire list over that I want answered. I can't imagine or guarantee that anyone is going to answer all of those questions, but I am saying I have asked some of them, okay? I have asked some. Okay, let's look at the next FAQ section here. It says, if I only use a few seconds of the music, do I need to buy a license? So, you know how some people are like, oh, hey, if I just use 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever, right? They're saying even if you only use a few seconds of copyright protected content without a license, you're at risk of getting content ID claim or copyright takedown. So also, hopefully y'all know the difference between the two. The copyright ID claim is going to be, I can take all of your money. Sometimes I can limit the reach in countries that this video may be able to be viewed in. Copyright takedown is, this is not okay. I'm issuing a strike and your channel could be shut down depending on how many strikes you may have, okay? Very different things. A lot of people have copyright claims when it comes to especially shorts because they wanted to use more than 15 seconds of a song. I've seen that. A lot of people have copyright claims because they heard a song in the background in a vlog and you happen to be walking through Target. A lot of the time that'll get hit with a copyright claim. They'll let you have the video up. They'll take all your money, okay? Copyright takedown, which is the strike, is, no, that's mine. You can't have it. Maybe you stole my whole video, and that's a big deal. You cannot get monetized if you have a copyright strike, but you could possibly get monetized if you have copyright claims. So very different things, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you're understanding those are two very different things, okay? So they're saying there's no specific amount of time that we're going to give you. It's saying you run the risk of either the monetized split, the copyright takedown, copyright strike, or you can pay a license or, you know, whatever. So here we go. Can I still access the YouTube music audio library, which we know is other music, sound effects, things that you can use? Sometimes you need to check the description. They'll say they need attribution, which means like you copy and paste a little blurb that says, this is the song blank by Kevin MacLeod, who seems to do a lot of them, and you have to keep it in your description box, okay? Sometimes that happens. You have to check the individual tracks for that, okay? So keep that in mind, and there's that. But that music can typically be used. You need to take a look, okay? And you'll be able to keep your monetization because those songs have already been licensed from the artist and they're already getting paid, okay? So there's that. And they're saying, yes, you can still go to the audio library. You can go to the audio library, which is separate from the Creator Music homepage, and you'll still be able to use those sounds just as you did before. So there's also a question about, can I find sound effects? That was also in the audio library, not probably inside of the new Creator Music homepage. Okay. Hey, Annie. We're getting a double dose today. We'll also talk about the same stuff tomorrow, so you're just getting the preview, okay? And I figured there'll be more questions. Now, the sound effects, again, you go to the audio library at the bottom of the Creator Music, outside of the Creator Music homepage. There are sound effects there as well if you need something for your video, sometimes like doorbells or all that kind of stuff. That's all still available there. So the price of licenses, how's it decided? Can it change? Okay. So music partners such as the music labels, the publishers, they're the ones who set the price. It's not YouTube. It's what the publishing house has decided they're willing to sell the music for, okay? And they set their own individual pricing for the tracks that they offer for licensing. So some tracks will have a specific price for all creators, regardless of size. Doesn't matter if you are David Dobrik, doesn't matter if you are Shelly Saves a Day, doesn't matter if you're Annie Portalatin, right? Certain songs will cost the same across the board. Doesn't matter, okay? And I've seen songs inside of the music library so far that have ranged from free to $6,005, okay? I am sure it will get higher as more of these songs are added that are from popular creators. So I'm sure you're gonna see, you know, let's just pretend, I don't know, let's just say a Britney Spears song in there. I wouldn't be surprised if one was available, but it could be $100,000. Who knows, right? We'll see. And it says, some tracks will have a customized pricing based on a channel's size. So that means David Dobrik will pay a different price than I will pay, and I will pay maybe a different price than Annie may pay. Okay, so it can either be one or the other. The music publishing house and label decides this is the track cost for everyone, or this is the track cost based on how large your channel size and reach is. We don't know what their levels that they're telling us for the level differentiation are. That's not shared with us. I would be curious to know, though, if, let's say, once this becomes available to a lot of different people, if you asked a buddy with a channel of a certain size, hey, if you go to this song, how much does it say that it is for you? That's the only way you'd know, though, is if you kind of like started sharing and talking with other creators of different sizes. Okay, so Cockney has a question. She says, so this new model will really benefit creators and consumers alike. I think so, because it then creates the best video experience possible, which is what YouTube wants, right? We want you to use the music that you want to use if you want to make the video. We want you to use the music you want to use if you want to make money still. I think so, yeah. Okay, so there we go. We have learned variable pricing, right, on the songs. Next, when do I pay for a license? Okay. And also, creator music is in the beta phase. It's not yet available. It will be hopefully rolling out. I don't know if it's in the fall or if it's going to be also the start of the year like the others. Just FYI, this is coming. Okay? So, it says you can pay for a license directly in Creator Music Storefront or when you upload a video that uses Creator Music Track. So you may have then downloaded the song and paid for it. I don't know if they're saying that you have to pay to download it or you pay when you're publishing and you know that the song is in it. Not exactly sure, but they're saying you will pay before you make that video public, hopefully, right? So it says, can I request a refund for a license that I have purchased? So it says you can get in touch with a support team and they list an email. It says to request a refund. There are, of course, certain things that are going to need to happen to request a refund. It says if the request is eligible under the refund policies, the support team will process a refund. We'll have to find out what that means if it's eligible. Okay. I'm sure that means it hasn't been public. We'll see. We'll get into stuff. So the next one is, I received a copyright claim even though I licensed the music content. What's up with that? It says, licensing a track from Creator Music should prevent you from getting any copyright ID claim for that specific video or a copyright takedown notice for that track and video. But if you believe that you got a copyright claim on your licensed track in error, you reach out to this team at an email address so the support team can look into it. But it may not have been the music is what they're saying. So keep in mind that if your video contains any other copy protected materials besides the song that you licensed, the other copyright protected content could be subject to the copyright claim. So you need to learn about your options responding to content ID claims and removal requests. So if you bought one song, but then you also did you screen scraped a movie trailer for the newest Top Gun or something, it could be that and you're not protected just because you bought the song. Let's say you bought the One Republic song. I ain't worried about it right now. But then you played the Top Gun movie trailer at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have gotten it for the movie trailer and not for the song that was used in the movie trailer. You see what I'm saying? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. Could be the other thing, okay? Could be the other thing. All right. So pricing. So let's talk about this. It says non-paid licenses. There are two types of non-paid licenses for Creator Music. Number one is the YouTube Audio Library license. And the other is the non-paid commercial license. Commercial is a special word in there, okay? To check which kind of license a track has, you click on the little three dots next to a song, and then you view the license type. anywhere a track is listed in Creator Music, okay? So it says, or when uploading, you can check from the checks page once the track is automatically identified, and it will be identified during the upload and checks process, or a license is manually added. Because remember, you may have already applied a license on an unlisted or private or draft video because you were doing some checks maybe for the monetization, on something else, because maybe it's a racy subject, and you want to then move that paid license from that draft or unlisted video into your final video. So keep that in mind. So paid licenses, it says Creator Music lets creators license music directly from music partners that own the rights to the tracks. Keep in mind that just because you ask an artist, hey, can I use this music? A lot of the times the music artist isn't the one who owns the track, it's the publishing house, and they have the rights, okay? So as a copyright owner, music partners such as music labels and publishers, they're the ones who are setting the price. Again, it's not YouTube, it is what the publishers and music labels have decided the songs are going to cost. So again, it reiterates that some tracks have a set price for all creators and others may have customized pricing based on your channel size. And then it says, of course, that the prices are subject to change and they're at the sole discretion of the copyright owner. So when a license price changes, any past purchases or use of the license are not affected. It will only be for ones purchasing and going forward. Okay. It says expirations. License expiration specifics have a certain amount of time where the license is valid. So in other words, how long you have to use the license track without worrying about copyright claims. So how long the license lasts varies depending on the track you've licensed. License durations start when you buy a license, and when the license expires, the video monetization terms and visibility may change. Interesting. I did not notice this. Okay. So it just said, if the license expires, video monetization terms and visibility may change. I would be curious. I'm going to add that to my list of questions. If you purchase a license and it has a 2-year expiration date, but it's an evergreen video that keeps continuing to get views and your license expires, at that point, would you go into a 45-55 split? Or I would have to assume you go into a 45-55 split, which is the new split for like the music thing. Or would you go into a thing where they could possibly still claim it and get your revenue up to strike it? They wouldn't do that, would they? No, they wouldn't do that. I would assume. Oh, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? What would happen? That's interesting. Video monetization terms and visibility may change, because when they say visibility, if you get a copyright claim, the copyright claim holder can determine whether or not your video gets restricted viewing in additional countries. So if you've ever seen it, you'll see something like your video is blocked in specific countries. So what if you're like a big creator who purchased this license, who then goes into a thing where your video then gets blocked in like all of these different countries? I'd be really curious to know if that's a thing, or if you know that this is something that has and remains in the music library, it should go into a 45-55 split. But what if also you have a real contentious relationship where that brand or company then pulls out of the music library and they decide to not be in it because it's only songs within that library, which are supposed to be the 45-55 split? What if then it goes back into a copyright claim and they take all the money? I have questions. Could it happen? We don't know. Could it happen? I don't know. Okay. Interesting question. That's a good one to put in as an asterisk. Okay. Usage. Only YouTube audio library licenses, YouTube audio library, not the Creator Music Library, not the new one, the old one, are valid to use in multiple videos uploaded to YouTube. Okay. All other Creator Music licenses are valid for a single video uploaded to YouTube only. Okay, so you can't take this video and put it on Facebook. You can't take this video and put it anywhere else. It is specifically for YouTube, and it's specifically for one video. But if you have music from the audio library and you add it to a playlist for your next live stream or something like that, you can use that over and over and over again. You can then use it in a regular video as just B-roll background music. That's fine. Not fine if you got it from the Creator Music Library. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Okay. So creator music licenses are not transferable to other platforms or to other YouTube channels. Remember, it's one video, one license, one channel. Can't buy the song for another channel. You can't buy it for a different, well, you could buy it for a different video, but you would have to pay for it each time, okay? Creator music licenses can be transferred to other videos within a YouTube channel if a license has not already been used on a public video, okay? So if it was draft, if it was private, or if it was unlisted, okay. If it was one of those things made public and then moved back to one of those statuses, not okay, because it needs to have only ever not been public, okay? As soon as it goes public, you've spent your license. You've spent your license, okay? There are also restrictions on how licensed music can and cannot be used within videos, and we're going to talk about that, okay? Whew, that's a lot. All right. So what are you actually buying when you get a license? And it is you're buying a specific type of license called a synchronization or sync license. Sync licenses allow you to sync your video with the music that you are licensing, subject to the license terms and conditions. This could be, like I said, choreography and dance videos. Okay, this could be you using it as B-roll. This could be an intro. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. If I buy a license, does that mean that I own the music now? This is also an important thing because some people have tried to bring up before, oh, I bought this song on iTunes, 99 cents. And I'm like, that's not the same because the end user experience wasn't for listening privately. It was for distribution in a commercial or, your video public setting. Different type of license, okay? So the license that you get is the synchronization or sync license, okay? It's a single use with restrictions. We're gonna get into the restrictions, okay? No, you don't own the music if you buy a license. It means that you have the permission to use the music according to the terms and conditions. So we're going to get into those terms and conditions, okay? So why do I get charged a different amount than what was shown? And it just says, hey, if you maybe got charged the wrong amount, reach out to us so we can look into it. And it says, if I license a track through Creator Music, can I use it on other platforms besides YouTube? I think you all know the answer. The answer is no, you cannot. If the license is a track from Creator Music, only for the one YouTube channel video. Okay, don't take it to another platform. Eligibility for refunds. It says to be eligible to use the music. Let's see here. We're going to talk about this. We've already covered this. We covered this one. That's additional. Okay. Restricted categories. Creators must make sure that tracks licensed from Creator Music aren't used in videos that contain content in any of the following restricted categories. Number 1 is violence. Number 2 is adult content. Number 3 is inappropriate content for kids and families. So I would be curious, and I have an open question mark out about this, as to if you purchase a license and make a video, is someone screening, or are you just saying, I promise I'm not doing it in these types of ways, but what happens if you are doing it in those types of ways? What kind of repercussions are going to come? We don't know. So commercial use and prohibited usage here. Creators are prohibited from using tracks licensed from the Creator Music library in a video where the creator has been paid by a brand or service to make content that is primarily dedicated to endorsing or promoting that brand or service. So to me, I have open questions about this because sponsored videos are a very common thing for, let's say, a tech creator. Every time DJI Mavic new drone comes out, there's 17 videos. When the iPhone 14 came out, there's a million videos. When, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain items when it comes out, you see a whole mess of creators all making videos about it because there's an embargo on a certain date and time, and then everyone floods the marketplace of videos with this content. So if the point of that video, and it's sponsored, is to show off a new product, to me, it looks like they're saying, you can't use this music for that. Which I would say is like, don't use it for a lot of the sponsored content. That's how I'm reading it, but there's more. There's more. So examples of these restrictions are saying, as a food creator, I upload a 10-minute video that mentions a third-party brand sponsors product as part of the video intro, but most of the video is focusing on the creator walking through a new recipe. Okay, so it's not the majority of the video, and it's talking about a new recipe. Sure, I'm using it in the intro, but it's not the majority. And then it said a prohibited or not permitted use is creator B. A beauty creator is paid by a brand to make a video that promotes and reviews a single product. Creator B publishes a 10-minute video that primarily focuses on promoting the company's new product. So this is very common, right? We've got like, this is a brand new foundation that's launched. This is a brand new eyeshadow palette that has come out. So if I do a video that is specifically about one thing, use a tutorial or, it's focused promoting on that company's new product, it can't look like a commercial for that product. And if you're sponsored, it sounds like they're saying, don't use this song. Don't use it in what looks like a commercial for a brand's product. You can tell me if that's how you guys are feeling like the verbiage is coming across. That's how I'm reading it. That's how I'm feeling about it. Let me know. Let me know if that's how you guys are following along with that. But that's how I'm seeing it. Here you go. Creators who license tracks from the creator music must abide by the following usage limitations, right? And this is why I'm going into all of this in such great depth and detail. I don't want anyone being like, I didn't know, but like, this is a lot of stuff they did not cover with us, and it would have been hard during this press conference basically to do this, but I'm going to cover it with you, okay? All right. Creators who license music from the library, not the YouTube audio library, from the creator music library, has to follow these rules, okay? No fundamentally altering the music, so no remixing. No remixing of it. No throwing a new backbeat. Like, it's got to be like unadult, untouched, like this is the song. Maybe cut into like 30 seconds or cut into like, but no other like, let me throw some other stuff and change the tempo and none of that, okay? It says, no creating new lyrics or translating lyrics into other languages. Okay. It says, no using artist or songwriter names or likeness other than to identify the music and the artist or the songwriter. So I wonder, like, that mean you can't use them in a thumbnail all of a sudden? Or does it mean like how far are they willing to go with that? Okay. And then I was wondering, it says, no creating art tracks, lyric videos, or karaoke videos from the music. And I have an open question about this. I don't think I asked this one yet, but like if I'm an artist, a digital artist who does stuff in Procreate, and I'm, let's say it's Taylor Swift. Let's say Taylor Swift's music is on there, and I pick out a song, and I want to do a time lapse of me drawing Taylor Swift on my iPad or with pencils or something like that. Are they telling me that this would not be an appropriate use of buying the license for the song so that I can demonstrate my artistic skills? Because that's the way I'm reading it, which is, I don't know, man. That's an interesting one for me, because if you are doing something artistic such as drawing, I feel like almost that should be allowed because it's showcasing something or some sort of talent. But the way that I'm reading it, it kind of seems like no. But I need clarification on that. It says, no using the music in any device that's intended for sound alone or audio only usage. So I would attribute that to maybe black screen and maybe just putting the words on the screen of like, like the lyric videos sometimes will tend to do. It's saying like, no, there has to be some sort of visual representation of something. Like it can't just be like a static image and then like this popular song in the back is the way that I'm reading that, but we'll see. And it says, this one I have open questions on as well, okay? It says, no using the music in a manner that is derogatory or casts the artist, the record label, or the songwriter in a negative light. I have a question about this one because if you are a music review channel, you're a music reaction channel, and you want to purchase the license to a song, which a lot of them will end up making these reaction videos and then cutting after 5 seconds or whatever, because they're like, oh, I get dinged with this, because they want to make video and make money, right? But if they buy the license to the song and they don't like the song and they say, you know what, this one wasn't really X artist's best work, I prefer this one, or I prefer this one when she was with this label instead or whatever. Is that casting it in a disparaging light where you no longer have the freedom to talk about what you do or don't like in criticism and critique because you purchased the license to the song because you just want to be able to play more than 10 or 15 seconds of it as you're talking about the song? To me, it kind of sounds like you're not able to do that. So now it's also getting into like the fair use and critique and protected speech rights versus being able to have that music license. So I would have questions about that, how that works for like a music critique channel or something like that. Because obviously not all of the songs from any artist are going to be like only positive reviews. So if you have something that you'd like to say, who is actually then qualifying if it is derogatory? If I say, this wasn't their best, is that derogatory, or is it based on some other thing like protected class? Like, you know, how are they policing that? I don't know. So it says, example of a usage limitation. What would be permitted is creator A buys a license for a track and uses it as part of their video's intro without editing the original song except for shortening it to make a part of an intro. Okay, that's okay. What is not permitted is creator B buys a license for a song and uses a third-party editing software to remix that song and then add a new verse, which is something that you see a lot like on TikTok where it's like, here, add a verse to this existing song. They're saying, no, you can't do that because that would be part of remixing. That would be adding additional lyrics. That's not okay. So it's not okay. All right. So talking more about the terms and conditions around the refunds. So let's chat about that. It says, for full details, you have to go to this specific page, but it says within 7 days from purchasing a creator music license, you can request a refund if you no longer want to use the track and you haven't yet used it in a published video. So you could have it in a private video, an unlisted, or a draft video, but as long as the video has not been public, okay? Hey, Terry in Scotland, aloha. We're talking all about the new monetization changes and music changes that were released yesterday in the Made on YouTube press conference that I was attending. Now I can finally talk about it, that I was there. Carl in Arkansas is here too. Oh, the whole family. Hello. Oh, but Carl in Arkansas is on Twitch and Terry in Scotland's over on YouTube. So it says you can get in touch with the support team if you want to request a refund within 7 days of purchase. Okay, it says if the track is defective or it doesn't perform as stated. So maybe there's an error in downloading it, maybe. If you get an error or it timed out after the license purchase has occurred, that would maybe qualify. If you were accidentally charged twice for the license, that would perhaps qualify. And it says if the license information displayed is different than the amount that you paid. So that was, I was charged erroneously or charged twice, or stuff like that. It says, if a refund is granted, any active licenses are terminated. Access to the content is removed, and the purchase amount is refunded only to the original payment method. So you can't also be contacting them and be like, give me the money back on a different card, on a different account. That's not suspicious at all, okay? So, hey, we're at 19 thumbs up. Can someone boop that like button so we can hit 20, please? I'd appreciate it. Someone boop the button so that we can get to 20. I'd appreciate it. Aw, here we go. It says, aloha, Carl. I'll go back to Twitch. You don't have to go back to any. You can go wherever you want to, buddy. I only put that here because I thought it was interesting and I wanted to share it with everybody, okay? Someone boop the button for me that hasn't booped it yet. Okay? Someone boop it. All right. That was the information around what you can and cannot do. It says there's 19. I know it says there's 19. Oh, now it says there's 20. Thank you, somebody. Thank you, somebody. What questions do you have so far about the stuff that we have covered? That means no freestyling on the beat. Hippopotamus. My lyrics are bottomless. That's right. T. Oh, I forgot. We're beefing. My next diss track is going to be like, and here's why I don't like T. I don't know, man. I can't do it. Anyways, what questions do you guys have so far about what we've seen, what we've heard? Are you excited about this? Are you not excited about this? 2 more boops? Yeah, 21, man. You bopped it. Thank you. Thank you, Tay International. Oh, thanks, people. We got to 23. Boom. What questions do we have about this? I'm compiling a list. I've already sent some over to Team YouTube. I want to add more. We're going to be talking about this tomorrow on the Triple T Thursday. But one of the things why I wanted to do the longer live stream today is because tomorrow I usually have a time limit on Thursdays of, a certain amount of time that I can do. And right now I don't. So I want to be able to get it out. Yeah. So what questions? Come on, guys and gals. If you have them, let's chat about them. Generally, you excited about this? You not excited about this? YouTube is too geeky. What? Twitch forever. I will say, if you guys didn't see the news about Twitch finally kind of taking a stand on some of this gambling stuff, I'm glad. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm glad. Okay. And I believe that the partner program is now a little bit looser in its requirement about the not multicasting and the proprietary stream on one platform for a little bit. So I figured this one was an important one to stream on both because it's a big change. And I wonder what it will do to kind of reverb through not only the music industry, but the streaming and other video platforms. If anything will change on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, that kind of thing. So we covered a lot. Let me just make sure. That was all of from the notes that I had. Let me just make sure that I didn't have other videos that I want to pull up here for y'all. Did we... One second here. I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up, y'all. It was this one. Oh, wait, those are my screenshots that I think I've already sent to the thing. Let me... Let me do this one, and let me airdrop it to my computer, and then I can bring it up on screen. So 1 second here. I want to show you all something. I'm about to learn you something right here. Let me give you a song here. 1 second. All right, I'm going to drop this video on. Hopefully it plays for you. I want to show you what it looks like inside of the music library if you didn't get a chance to catch that YouTube short. So let me see if I can drop it on. I don't know if there's audio or not. We'll see. Okay. Here we go. So this is the new experience here where you're going to be able to browse by genre, and you'll be able to browse by mood. Right? And that's why you might go into country and Americana and see that there's no stuff in there. Okay. So you're going to be able to see the prices here are going to be varying anywhere from $0. The highest that I saw so far was around $6,005. I don't know if the prices will be considerably higher or lower, depending on if I get access to this, if you get access to this, if larger access channels happen. And then here you can just see I am scrolling through the pages to see how many, because it doesn't give you out of how many there actually are. So you can see it's like 351 through 400, 401 through 450. And then when you go to 450 to 500, then you get, or maybe you didn't see it here, I cut it off. You get an error that just says this page is broken, basically. So it has at least 450. So it has somewhere between 450 and 500, because this is not in any one specific category. This is in the no filters. This is everything. So again, hopefully you guys saw that. I can try and play it again. So it says, let me see if I can pause it and go back here. So it says featured collection, cinematic action. And you can look here. It says like 17 tracks, 22 tracks, 23 tracks. Obviously there's not a ton in some of these categories. So, and then it says happy, bright, dramatic, funky. And hopefully you guys are still hearing me, because sometimes it mutes the audio when you play a video. But so you can see the genre or the mood, and then you can see these. You can preview the song, and it will tell you, you know, some of these specific characteristics, how they're classifying it. This is sad. This is hip hop, and this song, I don't know. This Right Now by Mo3. This is a sad hip hop song, and it's 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and it's $100. So you can buy this one song for $100 for one video, or you could purchase this Montgomery song called Dials. It's a hip hop song that has, I don't know, piano? I don't know. And you can preview the song. It's 2 minutes and 44 seconds. This song is $4.99. And you can see here, this top one says happy, dramatic, Indian alternative. This Cradles Sad Urban, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. It's free. So what's interesting to me, like if it's free, then it's good that it's in here, but like you're going to have to download it for every single time you want to use it. So if it was your intro song, let's say, and you cut the first 30 seconds of it to be your intro, you would have to register it each time. But what if in month 8 or year 2, all of a sudden it became like super popular, and then they changed the price to $99, right? And then all of a sudden your thing expires on some of these licenses, and then all the videos that you did beforehand where you maybe used it would then be subject under the new copyright for views going forward for the 45-55 split, or would it still be covered? Like, I have questions about use cases, about what this looks like. What does it mean? Okay, what does it mean? So again, I don't know. $4.99 for a track, maybe, okay. But then again, these they did say are more specifically videos that are indie. So they're not necessarily saying that these are mainstream ones yet. So I don't know. So let me come back to this and hit. Did I come back? Oh, look at that. Like I knew what I was doing. Oh my goodness. So this is basically the one live stream that hopefully lays out all of the new changes with as much specificity as I can. But like I said, we have more questions. that still need to be answered, and we will be reporting back on this. But at least you have now one place, one resource that you can come and catch all the things. So did we learn some things today, y'all? Did we learn some things? Let me know. You learned something. Give it a thumbs up. Okay. Let's just make sure. I hope you did. I learned a couple of extra things as I was reading through each line, because sometimes you got to read each line specifically, you know? So let's here's some. Good golly, Miss Molly, $100 for one song. Yes, correct. One song, $100. And Carl says, I'll pass. Specificity. Nope, couldn't even do it twice. So the Power of Purpose says, I wonder if sites like Epidemic Sound will be affected by this, although I'm reluctant to pay that much for one song. And you know, we actually had this question a little bit earlier where we talked about Epidemic. I don't know, because first of all, it's going to depend on how big the library gets, how expensive each track is, and where they want to put that video. So if they want to also put it on Facebook, you're going to do an Epidemic sound one. If you need additional sound effects and stuff, you might do Epidemic. If you're going to have something that you want to be able to play over and over and you don't want to worry about license expiration, if you want the fact that it has more than 500 songs, because it has like, 25,000 songs, something like that, the music library selection may just be a lot better over on Epidemic. So I don't know if necessarily they're going to need to be too scared yet. I would be more nervous if I was a company like Licked, because I don't know the size of their library yet. I don't know their rates. And in comparison to what the rates will be for people on YouTube with access to the Creator Music Library. And I don't know their licensing structure when it comes to repurposing across others as well. And it could very well be because a company like Licked, you don't pay a subscription, you pay a per song type of thing as well. You might look just like you do now, like, I want to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And you're like, is it on Hulu? Is it on Netflix? Is it on Amazon? And you check all the ones because you know what you want to use. And then you're like, right? And you're searching, where can I watch this? Or where can I license it from? So I think it's just a place, it's just a thing in the future for us. We're going to be like, I want to use Lizzo's new song. Is her song available on YouTube? What's the price versus if I go to Licked? What's the price if I had it inside of Epidemic? We don't know yet, so we're not sure what that landscape is fully going to look like once it's fully baked. So I would anticipate it being kind of like which streaming platform can I find this show on? It might get to the point where it's like, what licensing publishing house can I get this song from? Or something very much like it. That's my 2 cents on that. That's my opinion. We'll see how that actually goes. But do you have any other questions, y'all? If you haven't yet, make sure that you are liking, subscribing, all of those things, okay? And if you haven't followed me yet, I don't know what you're doing, man. Follow me. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all the things. We're sharing all the information, okay? I want to thank you for hanging out with me. Again, we're going to be covering this subject tomorrow on the Triple T Thursday Live. So if you haven't set your calendars, tomorrow, 5:30, come hang out with us. We'll be chatting about it there as well. But other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. You're excited about these new changes. I'm pretty excited, and I'll be excited once we get more information from them as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you in a video very soon.